Edward Charles Francis Publius de Bono, 19th May 1933, 9th June 2021, was a Maltese physician and commentator. He originated the term lateral thinking and wrote many books on thinking, including Six Thinking Hats. Life and career. Edward Charles Francis Publius de Bono was born in Malta on 19th May 1933. He was the son of Josephine Burns de Bono. Educated at St. Edward's College, Malta, he then gained a medical degree from the University of Malta. Following this, he proceeded as a Rhodes Scholar in 1955 to Christ Church, Oxford, where he gained an MA in psychology and physiology. He represented Oxford in polo and set 2 canoeing records. He then gained a PhD degree in medicine from Cambridge. University de Bono held faculty appointments at the universities of Oxford, Cambridge, where he helped to establish the university's medical school, London and Harvard. He was a professor at the University of Malta, the University of Pretoria, the University of Central England, now called Birmingham City University, and Dublin City University. De Bono held the Da Vinci Professor of Thinking Chair at the University of Advancing Technology in Tempe, Arizona, U.S. He was one of the 27 ambassadors for the European Year of Creativity and Innovation 2009. The originator of the term lateral thinking, De Bono wrote 85 books with translations into 46 languages. He taught his thinking methods to government agencies, corporate clients, organizations, and individuals, privately or publicly in group sessions. He promoted the World Center for New Thinking, 2004-2011, based in Malta, which applied thinking tools to solution and policy design on the geopolitical level. In 1976, De Bono took part in a radio debate for the BBC with British philosopher A.J. Ayer on the subject of effective democracy. Starting on Wednesday, 8 September 1982, the BBC ran a series of 10 weekly programs entitled De Bono's Thinking Course. In the shows, he explained how thinking skills could be improved by attention and practice. The series was repeated the following year. A book with the same title accompanied the series. In May 1994, he gave a half-hour opinions lecture televised on Channel 4 and subsequently published in The Independent as Thinking Hats On. In 1995, he created a futuristic documentary film, 2040, Possibilities by Edward de Bono, depicting a lecture to an audience of viewers released from a cryogenic freeze for contemporary society in the year 2040. Convinced that a key way forward for humanity is a better language, he published the Edward de Bono Codebook in 2000. In this book, he proposed a suite of new words based on numbers, where each number combination represents a useful idea or situation that currently does not have a single word representation. For example, De Bono code 6-2 means, "Give me my point of view and I will give you your point of view." Such a code might be used in situations where one or both of the two parties in a dispute are making insufficient effort to understand the other's perspective. The Six Thinking Hats technique, developed by Edward de Bono, is a structured method for group discussion and individual thinking. It involves 6 metaphorical hats, each representing a different type of thinking. Each hat has a different color, to help you remember the type of thinking involved. Participants switch hats to explore different perspectives, leading to more comprehensive decision-making and problem-solving. What's your instinctive approach to decision-making? If you're naturally optimistic, then chances are you don't always consider the potential downsides to a decision. Similarly, if you're very cautious, you might not focus on opportunities that could open up. Whatever your gut tells you, the best decisions usually come after you've explored several ways of viewing a problem. However, it's easy to feel confused if you try to consider multiple angles at once. And things can get even more complicated, even combative, if your whole team weighs in with different points of view. The 6 Thinking Hats technique. 6 Thinking Hats is a way of investigating an issue from a variety of perspectives, but in a clear, conflict-free way. It can be used by individuals or groups to move outside habitual ways of thinking, try out different approaches, and then think constructively about how to move forward. In this article, we'll explain the principles behind the 6 thinking hats technique and examine how it could improve decision-making for you and your team. Who invented 6 thinking hats? The 6 thinking hats approach was created by Edward de Bono, a Maltese physician, psychologist, and philosopher. He used it in his work advising government agencies, but he also wanted it to be a practical tool for everyday problem-solving. It first appeared in his 1985 book of the same name, which has since been revised several times. De Bono, who died in 2021, was also the inventor of lateral thinking, a method of solving problems indirectly, often in creative and surprising ways. Similarly, 6 thinking hats is a way to understand and explore different types of thinking. 6 thinking hats for decision-making. The 6 thinking hats technique gets you to look at a problem in 6 different ways. It takes you and your team beyond any instinctive positions, so that you explore a range of perspectives. That way, you can carefully consider each one without having to argue your case or make snap decisions about what's right or wrong. By the time you've tried out all 6 hats, you should have a rich collection of insights that will help you to decide your next steps. Here's what each of the 6 thinking hats represents. Blue hat, the conductor's hat. When you or your team are in blue hat mode, you focus on controlling your thinking and managing the decision-making process. You have an agenda, ask for summaries, and reach conclusions. Green hat, the creative hat. The green hat represents creative thinking. When you're wearing this hat, you explore a range of ideas and possible ways forward. Red hat, the hat for the heart. This hat represents feelings and instincts. When you're engaged in this type of thinking, you can express your feelings without having to justify them logically. Yellow hat, the optimist's hat. With yellow hat thinking, you look at issues in the most positive light possible. You accentuate the benefits and the added value that could come from your ideas. Black hat, the judge's hat. This hat is about being cautious and assessing risks. You employ critical judgment and explain exactly why you have concerns. Tip: the black hat is one of the most powerful hats, but it's often overused. Make sure that you and your team can justify any critical or cautionary comments, so that this mode of thinking doesn't dominate your decision-making. White hat, the factual hat. The white hat represents information gathering. Think about the knowledge and insights that you've collected already, but also the information you're missing and where you can go to get it. Reproduced with the permission of Penguin Random House UK and the trademark and copyright holder debono.com. To find out how to use the 6 thinking hats in teams, please contact debono.com. Some colors have cultural implications, so you may have to pick new colors for one or more of your hats. In China, for example, a green hat can mean an unfaithful spouse. And you might decide to change the black hat to gray, so as not to associate black with fault-finding. It's fine to use any colors that are appropriate for you and your team, just as long as all 6 are different, and you stick with the same colors each time you use this technique. Frequently asked questions. How can the 6 thinking hats technique improve decision-making? The 6 thinking hats technique improves decision-making by encouraging participants to systematically consider a problem from multiple perspectives. It can help to reduce bias, enhance creativity, balance emotion and logic, and identify risks and benefits. Can the 6 thinking hats technique be used in individual decision-making, or is it only effective for groups? While this technique is particularly effective in group settings due to the diverse perspectives and collaborative discussion it fosters, it can also be highly beneficial for individual decision-making. When used individually, the technique encourages the person to consciously switch between different modes of thinking. This self-reflection can help to broaden perspectives, organize thoughts, and boost individual creativity. Tip: there are several other decision-making techniques that explore problems from different angles. The reframing matrix encourages you to try out a range of perspectives when you're designing a product or service. What are the key considerations from a marketing perspective, say, or from the point of view of your manufacturing team? Constructive controversy involves pitting different approaches against each other. This means that it's more combative than 6 thinking hats. But it can also generate energy, help people to reconsider their positions, and result in well-tested decisions. And empathy mapping is a useful tool when you want to understand the perspectives of key stakeholders, in order to incorporate them in your plans. The benefits of 6 thinking hats as well as improving the quality of your decisions, the 6 thinking hats technique has some other benefits to offer. More organized thinking. You can be confident that you've considered every angle, and it helps you to weigh up the information you obtain efficiently and accurately. Improved creativity. It gets you to step away from your default positions and approaches. And comparing or combining different perspectives can sometimes spark novel thoughts. Better thinking skills. It's a great way to strengthen important skills such as curiosity and critical thinking. Stronger interpersonal skills. It encourages you to practice listening, questioning, and answering. So it can also make you more persuasive, better at spotting when others need support, and more confident to resolve conflicts when they arise. Greater inclusivity in teams. It requires people to set aside any preconceptions and to focus on seeing things from the same perspective for a while. Debate still happens, but it's based on shared understanding, which can help everyone to feel included. Note: it's important to remember that some members of your team might find some types of thinking challenging, possibly due to neurodivergence, and need reassurance or support. However, they may also excel while wearing particular hats. So use this technique as a chance to play to everyone's strengths. Key points: de Bono's 6 thinking hats is a powerful technique for looking at decision-making from different perspectives. It involves 6 distinct types of thinking, which you can do on your own or with your team. Each thinking style is represented by a different hat. Blue hat, organization and planning. Green hat, creative thinking. Red hat, feelings and instincts. Yellow hat, benefits and values. Black hat, risk assessment. White hat, information gathering by wearing each of the 6 thinking hats. In turn, you can gain a rich understanding of the issues you face and the best ways forward. You also encourage everyone to be fully involved in the decision-making process. References: De Bono, E., 1999. 6 Thinking Hats, Revised Editors, New York, Back Bay Books. Thank you and appreciated for subscribing to the 1000K Sharing channel.